You know what? I've been really lucky. I've never really had my own sort of troubles with racism. Yeah, when I was younger, oh, you only do sport because you're black, so you're only good at it because you're black. So does that mean you're not good at school? Um, but then you have to remember those individuals, those young individuals, are easily impressionable. They only get that sort of mentality from the people they hang around. Um, but it's interesting because sometimes it only feels like society only lets us be good at things that society wants us to be good for, if that makes sense. We cannot say that it doesn't go on because that's really naive to think that racism doesn't happen in 2023. You know, if so, we wouldn't be obviously having these problems with racism and racist remarks. But as a dual heritage child, as a child with a white mom and a black dad, I think we're conditioned to know it's out there, but sometimes not to ignore it, but to address it. And I think that's the difference in accepting it and also tackling it head on. It's kind of like you're being put on the spot for something that you can't influence. Like I didn't ask to be black. Like you didn't ask to be white. It just happened. I am black, and that's my identity. That's me. I'm Jordan. I'm 21-year-old mixed race young woman. It's it's like you're being put under question for something that you didn't feel like you had to be questioned about before. It's someone really just calling out your identity, and obviously in such a high octane elite environment that rugby is, you've got stresses upon stresses. I don't think commenting on someone's race, it, I think it would be detrimental, but I don't know, maybe I'm coming from a different sort of era of players, because I don't know, I take that as my fuel. Yes, it's horrible what we've had to put up with in the past, but I like to think my mum says obviously it makes you rise above it. So I just take it as, you know, my ammunition to be better. But I think it's just down to mindset. But me personally, I just shrug it off, because the only person that's my biggest sort of critique is myself. And if I let anyone else influence what I'm feeling, then they've won. But it is really detrimental, especially to young black people. You know, we've already got we don't want to be tarred with the same brush. I think we all I don't know, before we've even started, it's kind of like people always have a misconception, and I think once we start to really understand that, is how then we can actually be better and address it. I remember it so fondly. I was like 5, and me and my dad would go in the garden, and I'd play on like my younger brother's sort of slide and sort of monkey bar set, and I was like 5, just doing pull-ups with my dad, and my mum was like, I've never sort of like seen a 5-year-old do that before. And I just think like, oh yeah, but I can do that because I'm really strong. I don't think, oh, I can do that because I'm black. But it's such a common misconception, you know, like black people, black athletes are so prominent in sprinting, in track and field, in basketball, coming out now into football, but not necessarily in rugby. But I just think we do have gifts, and we fight for that. And I was just lucky that my parents were able to help me discover those and really nurture them. The athlete I think I definitely sort of resonated with myself was Jessica Ennis-Hill. Like, I remember watching 2012 Olympics at home. Gosh, how old was I now? Like 10. And I was just like to my mum, I was like, I want to be her. Like, I want to do what she's doing. And I think it's because she looked like me. It's so comforting seeing people like you doing amazing things, because it just makes you believe that you too can do it. Especially in my job role now, I go out and I can see how much rugby's in the area, how much the community's doing with it. But it's just the fact that I just don't think it's like widely available. Like, it's not widely available enough to people in the Bain community. I think that's why it's so important. The work we're doing in the foundation right now will help actually bring that number up, because yeah, it's so absent. You've got Sadia Kabir, you've got Tat Heard, like that are just representing, you know, in a sea, just trying to stand out for the right things. They not just want to stand out because they're black. They want to stand out because they're good, and then also they happen to be black. But they're paving the way right now. I've always been in the minority, always. When I was at school, when I was at college, when I was at uni. So I kind of got accustomed to it, but it's like, it just makes you feel warm inside when you turn up at training and you see there's 3 or 4 more of you. Like, I guess like my friends have never actually had to discuss how it's made them feel before, because I don't think they've ever had to think about it. But seeing people like you doing things you like doing too, being able to work together, critique each other, push each other, because it's just the representation we need, you know. It's just nice to see that they've got there as well. I don't want to feel like I'm just like a one-off, and like, anyone can do it if they put their head down. Anyone has the ability to achieve. I 100% believe that. And it's just nice to see it in the flesh. Like, I was really fortunate last year. I got to be involved in a friendly for Jamaica, and it was the first 15 games I've ever played ever. And it was like the most black people I've ever seen at once on a pitch, doing something that we all love. And we were all athletic, we all wanted the ball. And it was amazing, because the turnout we had, the support we had, whenever we scored, it was like incredible. And it's just family. Like, the one word that springs out to me is family. When I play rugby, I like to wear braids because it's a protective hairstyle. I mean, I don't think you'd believe it if you saw me running down the wing with a massive afro on my head. So, like, not aerodynamic. It's like, there's so many sort of situations that come into my mind, like, oh gosh, hit the floor, but, you know, get trampled on. Can't get, like, you know, my 21 years of my hair just stuck underneath someone's foot. So wearing braids, for me, I do it because it's protective. I mean, I like to embrace my natural hair, but for the physical demand of the rugby that we're doing, you know, training 3 times a week, game on the Saturday, or if not more conditioning, it's just important that that's how I maintain it. And I don't know, like, I read Sadia's post about, obviously, feeling that she has to wear her hair a certain way. I get that, but I don't know, maybe I'm just really, like, stubborn in myself. Like, I just wear braids because I want to. You know, I like to turn up with different colour hair now and then, but it's more so helping us maintain it, I guess. I don't know how Shauna Brown does it, playing in an afro every week, all day, every day. But for me, I think, especially with how much hair I have, it's just more manageable, especially with the load of training on top of, like, my workload. It's just one less thing to worry about. So it's just more protection, really. It's just giving, actually, our voice a bit more bass, making it louder. I just think it's so important to shout about the positive things that we're doing in the community. Black History Month gives us the platform to do so. Yeah, I'd love to absolutely rave about you know, black people and their achievements all year round, but this month especially is where we get really heard. And it's important that actually we embrace it, because there's amazing things that people are doing in the black community for the community. And people like myself, I think it's really important that we champion it with others. We're fortunate enough to be in the position, I'm fortunate to be in the position I am now, that I get to speak about this with you. I'd love it if we could actually get a microphone out to all the young black athletes in the area and hear their version. But for me, I think it's more as I owe it. I owe it as a young black representing female to speak about it, just because of the seat I'm in now.